In this video, we're talking about the state pension, whether it's going to be means tested or not, defined contribution, defined benefit types of pensions, and reinvestment risk. Who's responsible for that? So let's start off with the state pension. The state pension is funded by tax income, so the working population are paying for the retirees. So as the working population dwindles and the retirees increases, there's going to be a gap. There's going to be less taxable income. So this is why now there's talk about whether the state pension will be means tested or not. That's a debate, and I'm not here to talk about what will or will not be. So if you're new to your channel, I'm Felicia, and in this channel I talk about everything about mindset, making money, investing, and wealth creation for the generations to come. I'm a former actuary, so pension has always been part of my professional life from a very young age. So let's focus on where we are, whether it's not mistested. The thing is, we are where we are. So the first thing I was going to talk about will be whether we've maximised our state pension, or how to make sure we get the maximum we can get based on our national insurance contributions. In different regimes, sometimes you need 30 years. The newer regime is 35 years of national insurance contribution. So the first thing is to check that on the government website, check your state pension. I should leave a link below that you've paid enough, or you've paid the full amount per year, so that when you come to retire, you've got 35 years for national insurance contributions. If there's a gap, then you've got a chance to pay by paying a national insurance credit, and that will then top up that year so that you've got a full year national insurance contribution towards your state pension. So the link below, you can go in there and you can check. And also you can backdate it at the moment up to April next year, 2025. You can backdate it to 2006. After that date, after next year, April, one can only backdate it to 2016. So you've checked that you can get your full state pension. The other things one can think about now is getting all your pensions, all your lost pensions. There's a link below where in the government website where you can go and trace all your lost pensions for the employers you've probably forgotten you worked for, and then get all your pensions together so you know where you are, and then you can take it forward. So you've worked out, you've got your full national insurance contribution, you're on target to get the full state pension, that you've found all your lost pensions and you've brought that together so you know where you are with your pension retirement income. The other thing I think I would like to sort of tease out is the ability to understand the difference between defined benefit and defined contribution. Defined benefit pension is where it's linked to your number of years that you worked for the employer and your salary. So the more years you worked for your salary, for your employer, the more pension you get from for that tranche, for that time you worked for that company. And it's linked to your salary and number of years of service. So there's nothing to do with investment. You don't get a chance to invest because your employer, your scheme provider, does all the investment for you on your behalf. And so the investment risk is borne by your employer. Whereas the defined contribution scheme, where it's linked to the number of contribution you pay into your pension, that contribution is done by yourself, as an employee, and your employer. And that goes into a pot, your personal pot of pension. And the contribution is put into funds, and it's up to you as the individual, as the employee, to decide where that contribution is invested. So when you set up, you start work, you're given a pension, you've opted in, you stayed opted in, and then you'll tend to be automatically, most firms put you into a managed fund or balanced fund, and that's where you get plunked in. And you think, okay, that's fine, you've got pension, and that's fine, you just forget about it. But it's up to you as an individual to go into that pension pot, into your provider, see what the funds are available, and decide if that balanced fund or managed fund is appropriate for you. So with my story, when lockdown happened, I had more time to focus on my admin. So I dug out my pension, and I worked out I've been put into the managed fund, which is normal practice. What I didn't quite appreciate is that the managed fund, the balanced fund, is very sort of balanced, low, medium risk, and it didn't serve me well. So I looked at all the other funds available and realised that the managed fund was underperforming compared to what I could have been put my contribution into. So I then, over that lockdown period, moved my fund from the managed fund into what I call a global tracker. And then since lockdown, has done really well, or better than if I stayed in the managed fund. So I'm not a financial advisor, I'm only an educator. So what I'm saying is, like, have a look at your pension fund, dig out your statements, see where it is, and check that the fund, the returns it has over the last 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years, check that, and look at each fund has different fees. Check the fee structure. Make sure that it's not too high, not too low. Of course, the lower the better. And just take an active interest in your pension, and that will make a difference. Because, if lockdown didn't happen, I'm so busy with my life. I just I've got a pension fund. I'm so glad that I work for an insurance company, and it's part of my staff benefit. It was very generous. They gave me a match contribution, but I didn't realise that the balance fund did not serve me. So check that. And then also check that you've looked at all the companies you work for, that you've got all your statements together, so you know how much you've got for your potential for your retirement. And there's also talk out there, or why don't you bring all your funds together, all your pension pots together? But before you do that, there's one thing you should check, that the contribution, that the benefits for one employee might be actually better to stay put than to bring it all together into one pot. So check on that. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm an educator, just teasing out things I've learned as a professional actuary and for myself, and I've managed my family's retirement income that I'm now sharing with you in these sort of videos. So I hope you find this video helpful, and comment below if you want any more, if you've got any questions, and I'll make a video on that. Thanks for listening.